From the YBA Phenix Fitness 24/7 basketball facility in Rocklin, California, it's Bout That Life Podcast with your host, Coach C. Collins and Coach MJ. 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Hey, welcome to Bout That Life Podcast. It's your host, Coach C. Collins. I'm here to bring more light to you for AAU basketball life and everything in between, and hopefully those who have been listening, been following, are getting some good knowledge out of this show. Again, thank you again if you've been supporting from day one. You know, I'm going to keep this hamster wheel going, bringing you guys good guests, bringing you people that can hopefully help you walk your path in not only basketball, sports, athletics, but life. Again, if you're listening on the audio side, you know, whether it be Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you're hearing me, thank you. Thank you for taking the time to hear me out and maybe consider hitting that follow, right? Do the HBO special, help a brother out. But with all that being said, let's do a quick shout out to the sponsors. Dr. Dish, best shooting machine on the market. They have the All-Star, the Rebel, Home Edition. For any of you basketball players that are looking to get a shooting machine at the house that could help you grow your game and be your best, I definitely would suggest go with Dr. Dish. I have 5 of them in my facility and they work great. So tell them About That Life Podcast, send you, and they'll hook you up. Also, if you are a coach, a director, have your own AAU program, strongly consider in Rocklin, California, Hardwood Palace. Holler at Steve or Grant. They have rec level. They have, I'm Possibles next door over there with their training. They have all different levels of AAU basketball, competitive basketball, and it's a great starting point for if you're trying to get your kids out there running. They go from, as young as, I believe, 5 years old all the way up to 17, 18 So, go ahead, check them out. Tell them About That Life sent you. Again, that's in Rocklin, California. Hardwood Palace. Go ahead and hit them up. So, with all that being said, let me get to my guest. I've known this young man a long time, met him when he was young and, was a great athlete, football player, basketball player. Was at Jesuit High School was the last time he played for me specifically. If any of you guys who've been following the show for a while, you will have heard some of his teammates from previous episodes, one being Derek, DB by the bag, the other one, Kai Huntsberry. I have another teammate of his, Alex, who's now like a famous TikToker, streamer, so doing the video game thing. So funny enough, on his team, in his class, a lot of them ended up being very successful in their own way. I don't know how that happened. I'm just happy I was able to coach it and be a part of it. And not only were they able to be winners on the basketball court, but they're being successful young men and winning in life. So without further ado, let me introduce Kobe Byrd.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Man, it's your boy Kobe. Man, thank you, Chris, man. What's going on with you, baby?
How much, man? Just getting older and wiser. Sorry, man, I try to get wiser.
I feel you, man. It's a blessing to be here, man. About That Life Podcast, man. Shout out, man, to the team. Man, shout out to my boy Yo behind the camera, you know what I'm saying? That's my dog. But, man, coach, mentor, light skin king, the braids, you know what I'm saying? This is my guy right here.
Appreciate it, man.
Like he said, man, I've been coached by him when I felt like I was 8th, 9th grade, you know what I'm saying? 16, 15 years old.
Yep.
And it's just a blessing to be here, at 25. Like, I look back at those moments and I'm like, that was really 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And now, being a young man now, coming back, it's an aha moment for me right now. I say it's yes time. It's a yes moment for me. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's great.
And I just love what you're doing, man, for real.
Thanks.
I see the podcast. I see what you guys do on a daily, and it's just a blessing. You know what I'm saying? Man. So to be able to be here is surreal to me. And I'm glad and happy to be here.
No, I'm glad you're here, man. I want to get right into it and let people know who you are and whatnot. Like we already briefly talked about, I coached you for a while on the AAU side. Obviously, you were a multi-sport athlete. Your family, your pops, and it was one of your, still is your biggest fan, one of your biggest fans.
Exactly.
Right so shout out to him, man. And obviously, life has transitioned for you in multiple ways. So I want to. Usually my first question is about, AAU basketball. But before we delve into that, I kind of really want people to know, more about you, what you're doing currently, projects you're doing, things like that. Because, you're you're a Renaissance man at this point. You know what I mean? The 2024 version of it, in terms of you have your hand in quite a few places. So go ahead and, you know, let the people know what you about.
Man, Bout That Life Podcast, what you about?
Exactly.
You know what I said? I love that. But man, Kobe Byrd, director, producer, writer, artist now. I do music now. It's just a blessing, and I'm grateful to God to be able to be multifaceted. You know what I'm saying? Be able to have different talents. And I remember we were talking off camera, and you said that, you know, you might start off being an athlete, but you have to realize you come to a crossroad in your life, just as a man, to where when that career is over, you have to know what other talents you have, and you have to get in your bag. And I think for me, it started off when I was a very young kid. You know what I'm saying? And I got diagnosed with a certain type of condition that was called hip impingement. And basically what it was, I had a bone spur on my hip joint when I was 16 years old. And getting diagnosed with that, it really hurt me, but it made me a man at a very young age.
Yeah.
Because losing something like basketball, like football, having the doctor come in the room and tell you that, you know, it's probably best that you stop playing because of the fact that, you know, you could potentially hurt yourself and need to get a hip replacement when you're 40 years old. So I was like, you know what? You know, basketball means the world to me. Football means the world to me, but my health is most important. You know what I'm saying? And so I took that break to find myself. I took that break to figure out what I really wanted to do with my life. And, you know, when they told me I needed to get surgery, I rejected it immediately because I didn't, you know, I was afraid of surgery. I didn't want to go through that.
Absolutely.
But once it got to that crossroad of, hey, you need this for your health, I was like, okay, let's do it. But funny enough, that's what led me to being a director, being a producer, being a videographer, cinematographer, and being able to step into that other side of me that I didn't even know existed. You know what I'm saying? And one thing I'll say to athletes is you have to be able to know what you can do off the court. Because being on the court, you're so locked in, but being off the court, that matters too. What type of character do you have? What type of work ethic do you have, right? You talk about Mamba mentality, right?
Yeah. 100%.
Kobe Bryant was one of the best and the greatest legends because of who he was off the court. You know what I'm saying? And funny enough, my name is Kobe, but I resonate with that because that Mamba mentality is what gets you through life, and it's what gets you through being able to find those other hidden gems inside of you.
Yeah. And I mean, and you know, I think not enough emphasis is pointed on how, and again, I'm biased with it because I'm a basketball guy, and I think basketball players, I think we're very marketable as people. I think most hoopers are charismatic. I think basketball players, because we're kind of used to always being in the crowd or being around people, we interact well, you know, with the public. So I think it's just easier for basketball players to kind of make transitions to other things. You know, I got former teammates of mine that went into modeling or went into acting or went into, you know what I mean? Like, and it's just, I just noticed with hoopers, it's kind of easy for us to make those transitions. I mean, obviously a mentor who I want to bring up, who you guys seem to have a really good relationship, and he's someone that, you know, he played hoop and ventured into that field, the creative space, the entertainment space. Deon Taylor, right? Obviously, we talked about, man. You know.
And shout out to D, man.
Oh yeah,
what's
absolutely.
Up,
And he's been a guest on the show, obviously, which is great. Another Sacramento guy supporting and whatnot. But can you talk about, you know, your relationship with him and how he was able to kind of support you and help you out?
Man, bro, first and foremost, man, I just always got to thank God because, man, meeting Deon was crazy. Like, shout out to my boy Elon Randolph. That was who introduced me to Deon, and I always thank him for that, because when I was coming up, I was 18, 19 years old, and I was a young, fresh, raw entrepreneur minded, but I was a videographer, right?
Right.
And he's like, man, you got to connect with my guy Deon, man. Like, we went to school together, man. That's my boy. Let's get connected, right? So that was right after, remember I talked about getting surgery, right? That was right after my surgery. So meeting someone like Deon, I didn't even know who Deon was.
I know, right?
This dude is basically the legend in my generation. You know what I'm saying? Somebody I look up to where I didn't even know who he was. Now knowing who he is, I'm like, man, this dude gets funded by the wealthiest black man in America. Like,
no doubt.
And that's my mentor. That's big bro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But first and foremost, man, D, man, he means everything to me, man. Like, for real, like, coming up, he really showed me the ropes. And shout out to Roxanne and Omar.
Yeah, absolutely.
Omar is my dog, too. Man, forever young. Oh, shout out. Roxanne, too, means the most to me. One thing I always remember about Roxanne, Deon's wife.
Yeah.
She said on set one time when we was in Lake Tahoe shooting Fear, she said, I'm a producer, right? You got to produce. and when she told me that, I was like, dang. I was like, all right, I'm a producer. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because when you're a producer, you got to produce, right? You got to produce projects. And when she told me that, it stuck forever because I was like, dang, okay. I was like, okay, I'm not just a videographer. I'm a producer. I'm a producer now. You know what I'm saying? So, like, shout out to them because they really showed me the ropes and taught me the way at a very young age. And I appreciate them for that because everything that I have now, it stemmed from the knowledge that I learned from them.
Right.
And Deon always talks about that. He always talks about spreading love, spreading knowledge, and he always says the same saying. He says, the game is not to be sold. You know what I'm saying? The game is to be told.
Yep, 100%.
You know what I'm saying? Because growing up, people always say, oh man, the game's to be sold, man. You gotta get
There's always gatekeepers.
Yeah, always gatekeepers. And Deon is so pure. His light shines so bright and people don't really see it for real. Like, he's very, very powerful.
Yeah.
And that's my dog for real, forever.
No, that's what's up, man. That's good. That's a good news or a good story to hear. Like, and I think we need to shed, like, that's one of the things I just think we need to shed more light on that, you know, black men in general helping each other out and just trying to be allies with each other. I mean, and that's what it really comes down to. You need people that see the same vision as yourself.
Yep.
Well, let's talk about your newest venture, right? The music, right? You have this Friday, you got your album release party, right? You know, talk about that. Talk about your album, you know, your passion that's gone into that. Obviously, seems like it's a new passion project for you, you know, speak on it. Yeah,
of course, man. Thank you for that. This Friday, September 20th, I'm going to be celebrating my 25th birthday, quarter of a century. It's a blessing to be able to celebrate 25 years of life just in general. But ultimately, I want to express my first EP release, New Me. Man, 555 on the dashboard, it's a new me. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it's all about. And really, it's crazy how I even started making music because I started last October and now it's coming up on this October. So it's been a year now.
Yeah.
I've made so much music and it just came out of nowhere for real. Like, I literally woke up in the middle of sleep and I was just like, you know what? I'm going to do music.
Okay.
And funny enough, it's crazy. Like I said, how God works. Oh, probably a few weeks after that, I found out that my family inherited a radio station. So it's like, just to know that I'm on this path of making music and now I own a radio station, it's just like, that's more than me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I want to give a huge shout out to my grandmother. She passed away, Myrna Moore. I love you so much, Mommy Myrna. You know what I'm saying? You mean the world to me. But it was her father that owned the radio station, her and my great grandmother, Faye Brown Blackwell.
Okay.
She was a huge community leader out there. You know, she really into politics in Lake Charles, Louisiana.
Okay.
Shout out to KZWA 104.9. But that's our radio station out there. And it's just a blessing to be able to be an artist, but then to have a radio station.
Yeah.
And not many people can say that.
No,
you know?
A lot of people can't say that.
Exactly. And so going into the music, it was a different art for me. Because being a videographer, you know, you have a creative mindset from your visual aspect, but coming from an audio aspect, I'm able to dive into different pieces of me I didn't even know existed.
Right.
And it comes to unlocking the power of your mind for real, because a lot of people, especially athletes, they think that all they are is just a basketball player.
An athlete, yeah.
That's their identity. And so what I really want to express to people is like, you're more than that. You're more than just a basketball player. You're more than just an athlete. And one person that I really want to shout out for that is LeBron James. He always talks about more than an athlete.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I remember one thing that he talked about a long time ago. They told him, shut up and dribble.
Yeah.
And he's like, nah, I'm more than that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He got the shop, he has the school. So my thing is like, I want to be an unlimited being. I don't want to be limited to just being the basketball guy, Kobe the basketball guy, Kobe the filmmaker.
Right.
I always evolve, and I think that's what I really focus on is evolution. And I think life in general is evolution.
Yeah.
You have to constantly be evolving and getting to the next level so you can become that best version of yourself. Because God sees you like this, but you might see you like this, but you have to see your higher self in order to evolve. You can't stay stagnated.
No, I agree. Like, for your album, do you know what, when people listen to it, what do you want them to get out of it? Like, you know what I mean? Outside of just liking the album, that's easy, right? I hope you like it, right? But no, like what is your aspiration, your dream? Like, you know, that when they hear that music and you know, they listening to it in the car, they downloading it. Like what you want them to take from it?
Man, I'm so glad you asked me that question, because that's really what I'm thinking about for this Friday. Really, I want to give people an experience that they've never seen before. I want them to dive into my world, and I want them to really see like my life through the lens, you know what I'm saying? Because I've recorded a lot of historic people, you know what I'm saying? And it took me having to reflect back on what I did. Like, I recorded the whole George Floyd march with Deon Taylor. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there was 8,000 people. We did history, you know what I'm saying? And it's crazy to even think back to those moments. But
I remember seeing that on your social media and stuff.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And coming back to now, the present, I'm making this music focusing on what I like to call metamorphosis, which is transformation of self. Basically like a butterfly, right? Caterpillar, they go through metamorphosis, now they become a butterfly, beautiful butterfly, right? That's what metamorphosis is. And that's what my brand is, metamorphosis, right? You see 555, right? Angel number 555 represents transformation in your life. So I really just want to encourage people to become the best version of themselves and really, you know, look at themselves in the mirror, do that shadow work, and really figure out what you want to do to be successful. So that's really what my music is about, especially this EP.
Okay.
But I want to give people an experience this Friday. I want them to not only celebrate with me for my 25 years of life, but also I want them to hear the music. I want them to see me in a different light and not just see me as the video guy, not just see me as the athlete, because I'm constantly trying to evolve to the next level.
All right. Well, you know this. I mean, you know this music industry. It's a competitive sport. You know what I mean? You out there competing, but you know, like I said, it only takes one time, one song, the right time, right? That's a little bit of luck, a little bit of timing, preparation, and putting out a great product, and it all works out, and hopefully the stars align, right?
Of course.
It's a parallel to that is like when Deon was here, we were talking about that, and like when he's making movies, you know, he's like, it don't matter my budget, it don't matter, you know, if I got the top actors or whatever. He's like, but that's still my competition.
Exactly.
So I always have to think, you know, working within myself, how to put out the best product. Just like he said on the show when we were talking about it, like, I'm in this podcast space, right? And of course, for me, this is a passion project. I just love what I do and love what I do to help local guys like yourself and just everybody, just, you know, having a place to sit down and just have a conversation. But the reality is, because I'm in this space, I'm competing with Joe Rogan. You know, I'm competing with Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson. I'm competing with Gilbert Arenas. You know what I mean? Now, I'm nowhere near have the production value these guys have,
right.
But I do realize, because I'm in that space, you know, that they are, to a degree, my competition, but at the same time, my coworkers, right? Yeah, so, you know, it's always interesting when you try to venture into these places, when you think about the bigger picture, right? And I would definitely say, you know, in the music industry, that's for sure a battleground, right? Yeah. If let's say it goes well, right? Let's assume, you know, it's hitting, you know, the music's hitting, if everything goes well, is that something you want to keep pushing on and keep doing? I mean, okay. And as far as your other ventures, like I said, the you know, being a videographer and filmmaker and all that stuff, are you still going to try to keep those, or are you kind of?
So like I said, man, I'm constantly evolving, right?
Okay.
So and I'll go back to what you said about Joe Rogan and all those guys, right? Matt Barnes, Bobby Jackson. A lot of them guys are I like those guys, you know what I'm saying? But what you got to understand, and I tell people this all the time, it's me versus me. I'ma ride for my team.
Right.
Been grinding so hard, ain't slept in a week. I've been chasing my dreams. Elevation.
100%.
Dedication. You know what I'm saying? Motivation. Like, that's one of my songs called Me Versus Me, MVM. You could look it up, you know what I'm saying, on Apple Music, Spotify, all the, you know what I'm saying, YouTube Music. But where I'm getting at with that is it's you versus yourself. You have no competition because all you're looking at is that person in the mirror that you got to face every day.
Yep.
I was talking to my grandpa early today. He said he was singing me some song from one of the older, the old school songs.
Yeah.
You can't hide from yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, we was listening to the song and just laughing, man. I'm just like, wow, you really can't hide from yourself. It's you versus you every single day of your life. So focus on that and you'll continue to evolve. But to answer your question about where I'm going to go with video production and stuff like that, I still do everything, right? However, you do have to niche down what you're doing. You have to niche down your focus in order to grow and expand, right? So what is Kobe Byrd doing right now? Kobe Byrd is a producer, number one, right? So I'm producing a lot of projects right now. My main project that I'm working on is called The Legacy. And basically it's kind of like a podcast, but what I'm doing is I'm partnering with local companies.
Okay.
And I'm basically doing like, not necessarily food reviews, but let's say I go to like a Mexican restaurant, right? I might try their food, but I'm going to have a conversation with somebody while I'm doing that, right? So not only am I cross-promoting the restaurant, but I'm also talking and breaking bread with somebody who, you know, wants to have good conversation. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of where I'm focusing at right now. It's tied into our family legacy radio station, Family Legacy Broadcasting, KZWA. So everything is all tied in with that. So that's number one. And then also I'm working with a financial agency right now that I partner with, GFI, Global Financial Impact. We're helping families all over the nation, all over the world, really, different countries as well. But just helping families learn about financial literacy. It's number one right now because, you know, people can't even really survive right now. And I'm just looking, I'm like, the price of eggs, price of gas.
Everything's going up, man.
You know what I'm saying? Price of bread, all that stuff that's just necessities is going up to where like, it's like, it feels like you can't even afford to die nowadays.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
Like, you might have a funeral 25
Yeah.
You know?
You're right. No,
so
you're right.
I just want to teach people the power of life insurance, the power of getting a trust, you know what I'm saying? Getting assets, getting real estate, and really just overall just teaching people how to be conscious, teaching people how to be aware, teaching people how to focus on the things that you're not good at and aggressively attack it, right? So feeding your vision and starving your fears.
I like that.
That's one thing that I really like, you know, learn from my mentors is, you know, they tell me all the time, feed your vision, starve your fears. What does that mean? It means that the things that you want to do in your life in the next 5-10 years, feed those and do them in 1 to 2 years. But starve your fears, meaning that if you're scared, starve it. Don't even think like that. You know what I'm saying? Just continue to do what you want to do and just focus on that. Have that be your focus.
No, you brought. I like that. I like that a lot. I mean, you seem to have the right mentality when it comes to all this, and financial literacy is definitely one that I am a big advocate on. It's like, I wish I would have known a lot of the stuff that I know now when I was your age, just being honest. But again, you know, at least when I was younger, the internet was in its infancy. This knowledge wasn't as accessible, you know what I mean? So it's like, for my kids, and like I have 2 sons, right, so, and a daughter, so I'm trying to teach them these type of things as well. Yeah. So when they become young men, that they'll be 20 steps ahead of me, right? So no, I think that's highly important that you're doing something like that. I want to talk. I want to circle back with you when it comes to AAU and basketball, right? Because obviously that's the premise of a lot of this and the foundation for for this show.
I'm excited.
But, you know, now that you're, you know, like you said, you're out of that quote unquote athletic world. So you're looking from the outside in. Mm-hmm. AAU basketball has definitely changed even since when you played. I'm sure you might still see some things or hear some stories or whatnot. But
can we talk about the prices, y'all? Can we talk about the prices?
What's your overall take with maybe the good and the bad of, you know, AAU basketball where it's at today?
Hey man, I don't like to be negative, man, but I'm gonna start with the bad, man. I'm gonna get a little juicy right now, man.
Go ahead, please do.
Man, okay, let me just say this, man. going to a AAU game right now is like going to the NBA, man. These kids, man. It's like $25 to get in, and then you got to pay, then you got to pay $50 for parking. I'm like, who are these kids, man? They got LeBron James Jr., man. What's going on, man? But that's, you know what I'm saying, and it's crazy that you say that because my nephew Jamoris, Shakur, he is playing with YBA, which is, you know what I'm saying, your organization. And I came and seen you, you know, at one of the tournaments in LA, and it was just crazy. Like, me and my dad was cracking up because I'm like, man, we do that little thing where we got the wristband, man. We, you know, share the wristband with me, man, because this is crazy, man. Coming to these AAU games nowadays, it used to be $5 to get in when I was playing.
No, that's been gone. That's been gone.
Yeah, man. But it's great to see it evolve into what it is, because it is a lot bigger than what it was when I was coming up. But I mean, it's just a blessing to see these kids continue to evolve and to see them step into a AAU world that's a little bit more competitive than it was when I was coming up. It was still competitive, don't get me wrong, but now, I mean, you can be on any team. There's a lot of kids jumping ship. And, you know what I'm saying? When I was coming up, it was a lot of loyalty, a lot of, man, this is my coach. Like, we locked in.
You stay and
and even with us, like, I know the injury that I was talking about, you know, earlier in the podcast, that kind of tore us apart when I was being coached by you. But, you know, going with all the tournaments that we had, and, you know what I'm saying, being able to have your cousin come and watch us play. A lot of people don't know this, but Marshawn Lynch, you know what I'm saying? That's cuz, you know what I'm saying? And I'll never forget, man, I had dropped like 20 points in front of cuz up. And it was so dope, and we took a picture after, and
I still got that picture too. I still got all that. And
I was just like, man, it was a blessing that day. But you know what I'm saying, even more than that, like, you always, you know, taking me as like little bro for real, and teaching me and talking to me about more things other than basketball.
Right.
That was one thing I always liked about you as a coach, is you didn't really, like, you coached us, but you were more about what type of man are you becoming? What type of student are you? What, like, you would always talk about outside of the court. And I always enjoy that, you know what I'm saying? And I just commend you for that as you move forward into your expansion here with YBA as well.
I appreciate that a lot. I mean, that's always important to me. And, you know, I think sometimes it gets lost in translation nowadays because, you know, for me, you know, me in general, I get a lot of great stories of young men like yourself that I'm extremely proud of and love you guys to death, and just happy to be a part of your guys' journey, right? That's the side of it. But because, you know, well, you know, because I coached you, and like, I'm a tough coach. I'm a tough coach. My expectations are high, but it's to push you to be the best version of yourself.
There you go.
And nowadays, unfortunately, I would say kids have gotten a little mentally weaker. I should say a lot mentally weaker. Parents, you know, softer. You know what I mean? They don't want that accountability as much. And then, like you said, and combination of no loyalty. So kids are jumping all over the place. If they don't hear what they want here, they go to the place here. And you know, but I'm still going to be me. I'm saying the ones that gravitate to me and the ones that fuck with me, like they're going to reap the fruits of the labor. You know what I mean? That's why it's so interesting with your particular team, how many of you guys became and still are extremely successful young men. You know what I mean? It's pretty fascinating, even from my vantage point, because, you know, as a AAU coach, you hope you have of course you want to see all your guys live the dream of, you know, playing college basketball and all that. But once I started really seeing like which each and every one of you manifested into, like, you and everything you're accomplishing, Derek, you know, with what he accomplished, Alex with what he's doing, and even his brother and him and his productions, you know, Jake Mulaney, and he ended up playing football at Rutgers.
And,
you know,
Jake,
like,
shout out to Jake, man.
it's you know, like I said, Roy McGinnis, and, you know, like I said, he's a fucking engineer now, and he's doing great. You know, I think he graduated from Long Beach State, or, you know, it's just seeing you guys. And obviously Kai's the one that he's still hooping, and he did his thing, crazy, like, man. You know, but it's just it's really, really good. And warming for me to see you guys accomplish so much. It's just tough in this day and age because I deal with a level of hate this period, and that just comes with the territory because let me put it like this. If my teams were losing and getting their ass whooped all the time, even when I coached y'all, no one would give a shit. But like you said, you brought up the story of when I had Marshawn come to your game because he helped sponsor you guys and whatnot. And my brother who's in the NFL, Josh Johnson, he helped sponsor you guys and all that. It's like,
I remember that too.
Yeah, it's like the story couldn't have been painted no better than you guys playing in that championship game. Whether we were down at halftime and then we turned it around and ended up winning by like 15 or whatever. But, take a group of kids from Sac, Rocklin, Placer, all over the place to Oakland with Marshawn watching you guys play and winning. Like, you can't write that. You can't write a better story, right? So
I remember that day like it was yesterday.
That's why I say, like, some things, again, that's where I'm a firm believer that, God does have a plan for myself and for you guys. But no, I am always grateful and blessed to be able to have had the opportunity to coach you guys and to see you guys evolve as men. And hopefully, like I said, I had a hand in helping that process. You know what I mean? Obviously, parents did their job, no doubt. But like I said, if I could help reinforce that, no, that's what it's all about for me.
Yeah.
I want to ask you. So like we talked about with kids, with the kids and the parents and the loyalty issue, because that's kind of a topic I talk about a lot on this show. If you could sit down. Well, if you were sitting down with with parents, or like, you're talking to them straight up, whether they're listening to this or watching this on YouTube,
right?
What would you say to parents about, when they're looking at a coach or, like loyalty, like speaking to them on maybe a couple tips you might give them on this AAU journey?
I would say on this AAU journey, man, you have to really focus and hone in on who is your coach, right? You want to have someone who's like a mentor to your son, right? You want to have someone who, like you, for instance, you're a perfect example. You basically took these kids and you brought them together. You showed them culture. You showed them teamwork. You showed them the hard-nosed side of you, the I'm gonna get on your ass side of you. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
And really, you have to look at who the man is. You have to look at what they're about. And if they're a good man, if they're a good coach, if they have your best interests at heart, that's who you go with. Because think about it like this. If you're going to jump ship on somebody like that, they're definitely going to jump ship on you when you go to college. So you have to understand who is your home base. If you're writing your story, right? I talk about, this is my little bro, Jared McCain, right? You look at somebody like Jared, he came from Sacramento, right? But then he went to LA and had more opportunity out there, right? Yep. So that was his story. But if you're talking about a kid that stays in Sacramento and they're growing and they're trying to get to the league, you have to think about what's your story going to look like when you go to the NBA. They're gonna write back and see what your past was. So do you want your past to be, I went to this AAU team, then I went to this AAU team, and then I went to this AAU team? Or do you want it to be like, hey, man, I was locked in with Coach Chris since I was 12 years old, man. And this dude, man, he guided me to the right direction, and now I'm here.
Right.
Think about that story, right? You think about, the Kevin Durant's of the world, the LeBrons of the world. They always had somebody that was with them at a young age.
Yeah.
And so I would just tell the parents, like, really find someone that you can lock in with and that you really trust with your son, because your son is your life, right?
Right.
Lock in with them and basically rise together, because your purpose is connected to my purpose, right? And us being here is purposeful to add value to the community, to add value to the world, right? And so it's all like, for me, this is an aha moment because it's all connected, all coming back. I'm not even playing sports anymore. You're not coaching me anymore. However, we're still here.
Yep.
And that should tell you all you need to know about a basketball coach.
Yeah. And I mean, I like to think that the things that you learn through sports, they apply to your life. And like you said, like the work ethic you had when you were an athlete, irregardless of your injury, you're applying those same principles and that same work ethic to the things you're doing right now, and that's the transition I want people to see, right? You could, the athletic side of you is transferable to a lot of aspects of life. That's why I reiterate on this show that, you know, whether basketball is just the sport we love, but I don't care whatever you're passionate about as far as athletically, just get into something, you know, especially for young men. I tell them, like, you need something, right? I know nowadays so many distractions with phones and social media, and like you could be a content creator and all that stuff, but it's hard to apply that. It's hard, in my opinion, and this is just my anecdotal opinion. It's very hard for me to imagine a kid that never played sports, that never does anything, to just be able to just apply those principles automatically, intrinsically with, you know, do they exist? Sure. But I feel that if you get a kid involved in sports at a young age, let him or her go through those ups and downs, all those things become transferable into the next phase of their life. Right. So that's just overall. I want you to talk about your support system and your network. I mean, I would imagine in what you're doing in your industry, you know, who you know is drastically important, you know, exactly. Being able to shake hands with the right people, talk to the right people, things like that. Yeah. If you know, for my young listeners out there that are listening, that are going to end up listening to you and watching this, what tips could you give them? And could you, like you said, talk about kind of, you know, how have you been awarded opportunities through kind of networking with people?
Yeah, that's huge, man. I always say this, you have to put yourself out there, right?
Yeah.
And what does put yourself out there mean? It means figuring out who you are and putting that out there, marketing that to other people. Hey man, I'm a local videographer. I'm up and coming. If a lot of kids came up to me like that, I would be willing to mentor and help them, right? But a lot of people, they don't put themselves out there. They're just in their shell, and they're nervous, and they're timid about their craft. And that was one thing I would say that I did that a lot of other people didn't do. What separated me and what built Yes Yes Productions from the ground up was me taking ownership and saying, okay, Kobe, you're not playing sports anymore. Yes, you're depressed. Yes, you're going through hell right now because you're losing something that you loved your whole life and you thought you're going to be an NBA player or a football player, right? It hurt. But what separated myself was taking ownership, right? Figuring out, okay, I can't do this anymore. What's next?
Right.
And when it came to Yes Yes Productions, I started thinking, I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? Am I just going to go be the film guy at my school and work for the club and, you know what I'm saying, and just give my work away for free? Or am I going to take ownership and actually put myself out there? And so I've gotten asked this question many times, like on other podcasts and stuff like that. And they said, well, what did you do? This, that, and the third. And it was really, I put myself out there and I told people what I do. And they said, oh, I actually need that.
Right.
Have you ever did this before? And I'm like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? But you have to do that because even if you feel nervous and you don't think you're good, they don't know that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You're right.
They don't know that this might be your first gig, but you kill it. Like one of my little bros, shout out to Matthew Perkins, man. It's my little bro. I couldn't go film, or it was a photo shoot. I couldn't go do a photo shoot because I had other business that I had to attend to, some family stuff with one of my best friends, right? Had to be there for him. But my little bro, he told me, he's like, yeah, man, I got you. No problem. And he didn't really do that type of shoot before for a photo shoot. And I told him, I said, man, just do your thing, bro. You got this. He did it, killed it, right? Now, what does that do for him? It pushes up boosts his confidence and his ownership of who he is. Mm-hmm. Now he believes like, dang, I could really do this.
Yeah.
I deserve to make more money.
Right.
Versus like, maybe he was only charging $50 to $100 to do it. But now he's like, man, I feel worth $250 because knowing that client values it. And how do you think it makes him feel? Right. And so going back to like Deon or Roxanne or Omar, those type of mentors in my life in the film world, they taught me how to put a stamp on my value. You know what I'm saying? I'm in these rooms, I'm shooting behind the scenes. rubbing shoulders with King Batch and T.I. and Joseph Sikora.
Yeah, I saw that picture you had with Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah. That was huge too. But that's, Deon's circle, right? He's around all these great people, and to be able to rub shoulders with them means the world to me, right? So if I can give an ounce back of what they've poured into me, what would that look like? That's me, giving my time. That's me, if someone's asking me questions, pouring into them. And then when I get opportunity, when I get quote unquote put on, I really want to put on myself. I want to do my value, but to put on another upcoming filmmaker or photographer, whoever I can help, that's really what I want to do. And just like I was poured into, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, like being in those rooms, it means the world, because it makes you feel like, dang, like I really made it. I can really do this, And looking back at the 18-year-old Kobe, 17-year-old Kobe, man, he was in a very dark place.
Yeah.
And 25-year-old Kobe now is like, man, I'm proud of you, man.
Good.
I'm proud of you for going through the dark times and the ups and downs. And people don't know this, man. Like I went through a lot, man. Like I said, depression. And that was a big thing, because when you lose something that you've always had,
yeah,
you lose yourself.
Yeah.
And I lost myself, man. Like, and people noticed it, man. Like I was not being myself, man. I blew up. You know what I'm saying? I was gaining weight, and I really didn't understand why.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And now that I'm losing it, now I'm finding myself. I'm finding my true self. I'm going through that metamorphosis. I'm realizing why I went through that. And it was to achieve perspective. I had to be that other version of myself, that low vibrational version of myself, to know what this moment is going to be. And I think this moment is very powerful, because being here, I see the growth and I see how far I've come. And I know it's special. So one thing I would tell the kids out there is, man, don't give up on your dreams. If you have a dream, continue to go after it and continue to fight, man. Fight for your dreams, fight for your goals. And don't allow the matrix to stop you. The matrix is like that 9-to-5 cycle rat race. You know what I'm saying? Where you just constantly, you wake up and you go to work, and then you eat lunch, and then you go back home, and then you do it all over again. Like that is a cycle that you do not want to be in. You want to be in a cycle of like, man, I got this goal, and in 5 years I want to be here. In 10 years I want to be here. And then what I was saying earlier is you take that 10-year goal and you make it a 5-year goal. And then you make it a 2-year goal and a 1-year goal. And then by the time that 10 years comes, you're going to be way past that, because your own limiting beliefs is what stops your evolution. Remember I was talking about evolution earlier?
Yeah.
That's what stops your evolution is your vision being clouded and not being clear.
Okay.
Once I was clear on my vision, that's when everything went up.
Nice.
So what I'll tell, like your question, what I'll tell these young kids is be clear on your vision and start seeking mentors, start seeking people that can help you get to where you need to be, and you'll get there faster.
No, that's good. That's all great stuff. Did you ever have a fear of, rejection? Like when you're, putting yourself out there, you're starting this journey with filmmaking and, videography work. And, again, you're clearly much more confident in yourself now. But again, that's probably due to a lot of the yeses and success you've seen yourself have. But when you're first starting, did you ever have like a fear of rejection or a fear of like, man, I might mess up? Or did you not kind of just, try not to think about that side of it?
You know what? I actually didn't. And here's why. Because this is what I would recommend to people. You always have to add value to people's lives, right? So let's say for you, if I'm a young 17-year-old kid, what I'm gonna do, if you're my coach, right? Like let's say you like, let's go back to where we were. You're my coach, but I'm starting this videography company. I know that you're doing this podcast. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say, Coach, man, I just got my camera. Hey, I wanna come help shoot behind the scenes for your podcast. I know you got Yog shooting the podcast.
Yeah.
But can I do behind the scenes photos? You're gonna be like, heck yeah, man.
Hell yeah. Like, come on.
Bro, come on.
100%.
Easily. So what does that do for you? It increases your confidence in a state of mind to where it's not so much anxiety of, I don't want to mess up. I don't want, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when you're coming off of that vibration versus a vibration of like, I'm scared, because what is scared? Like these are low vibrations that don't serve you. So you have to be in more high vibrations. You know what I'm saying? What is high vibrations? That's love. You know what I'm saying? That's happiness. You know what I'm saying? And to be able to connect with people that you're already comfortable with is super important, because if I can help you out and I can add value to your life, what does that look like in return when you start referring me business because of all the work I've done for you?
Yeah.
And so when that happens, you get put in a circle to where people now want to see you win. So that's really what happened to me, bro, is I was a very young kid, went to Jesuit, and a lot of parents, they seen my craft. Because what I did when I going a little bit back into my story, when I had that hip impingement, I basically had to take time off from sports. So what did I do? I went to my coach, Marlon Blanton. Shout out Marlon, Coach Blanton. I went to him and I said, "Hey, coach, I have this hip injury. I'm not going to be able to play my senior year, but I have an idea." And he's like, "What's up? What do you have in mind?" And I was like, "You know what? I want to still be acclimated in the team, but I don't want to go work for the film crew or whatever, like at the school club. I wanted to create my own brand."
Nice.
And I told him about Yes Productions, and I told him, I said, "Hey, I want to do highlight videos. I want to make a documentary at the end of the season, this, that, and the third." And he was like, "Yeah, for sure. Let's do it." So week after week, I created a buzz in the community, and I just did them for myself. I didn't do them because, I wanted people to pay me for videos and all that stuff. I just did it for myself.
Yeah.
And it led to me creating a business, because people were asking me, "Hey, can you do a highlight video for my son?" It's like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Pay me like $300, right? And as a high school kid, man,
making 300.
you know what I'm saying? And you playing football, you know what I'm saying, playing basketball, you're constantly fed, right? Your parents are there for you, you know what I'm saying, when you're at these tournaments and stuff. So you're not really thinking about getting a job, because they want you to focus on basketball, right? Yeah. So that's kind of where I was at with it. And so making those $300 here and there, and you know what I'm saying, shout out to the Mulaney's. The Mulaney's really helped me. Believe it or not, shout out to the Mulaney's. The Mulaney's, and I'll say this on camera, the Mulaney's really helped me a lot when it came to upcoming Yes production. Like, they were always supporting me, always telling me, "Man, keep going." Mick Mulaney, Jake's dad, he always encourages me all the time. He's like, "Man, Kobe Byrd, man, cool. he's about to be the next director." And he really called it, because I'm on my way. You know what I'm saying?
And he's a good dude. And Sandy too.
Sandy, shout out to Sandy. People. That's mom's right there. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to little bro and Maggie and everybody. But they were a family that really helped me, when I was at Jesuit, and a lot of other families as well. But they were one that, I was really close with. And basically just going kind of back into the story, I was doing highlight videos every week, created the buzz, and then it led to, like meeting Deon, and it led to promotional videos for other people, and this, that, and the third. And what it evolved to now is, like, I'm getting into creating my marketing agency, where I basically promote, like, for companies and create reels and create video content. And gear it around them, because content is so huge now.
It is.
But it's crazy, because I was ahead of my time.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize that. You can be ahead of your time, where I was doing all this content stuff, but now look at it 10 years later, it's booming.
Yeah, absolutely.
So going through that career, it's just like, wow, like I was really riding the wave. And now that I'm evolving, it's becoming something totally different.
Yeah. Oh, that's great, man. I mean, it's social media, content creation. I mean, that's why I have this thing I'm doing right now, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm very fortunate. The platforms it's allowed me to create for myself. If I ever blow up and become super famous, great, but I really don't care. Like, ultimately, I more or less just care about getting the message out. That's what's important to me, and getting, like I said, stories like yourselves out, because I just need, I feel that people need to hear more of these things, you know what I mean? Especially young men and women. They just need to know, like, there are a lot of people out there that are working their butts off to make a way for themselves. Mm-hmm. And we're fortunate enough in at least a society like today where we can do those type of things. My last question before we move on into hot takes for you is, Kobe Byrd, 10 years from now, what does that guy look like? 10, 20 years from now, you're going to be 40 like me, grown man. What are you overall hoping and looking for with that guy?
That boy Kobe Byrd in 10 years, man. That's a good question, man. Man, I want to talk about the radio station.
Okay.
It's a blessing, man. I own a radio station in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Like, that's my number one goal moving forward, like the family legacy, like we call it the family legacy broadcasting, right? That's just one thing, right? But really my goal is to have my own portfolio of films, right? Be able to have my portfolio of films that I'm proud of, podcasts, TV shows.
Yeah.
Like I said, the radio station, my music is going to be ridiculous bananas. I'm just excited, man. Like I want to live in, you know what I'm saying, other countries, and I want to be a traveler. Like
travel, see the world.
These next 5 to 10 years, man, I'm gonna be a traveler, man. See the world. You know what I'm saying? I've already been to Jamaica, Virgin Islands, you know what I'm saying, Mexico a couple times.
I've never been to Jamaica, funny enough.
Really?
I have not.
Man, we got to take a trip. Man.
I know, man, right?
Hey, we going to take a trip, man. We going to take a trip. But yeah, man, just living life. I really want to live the good life and just be at peace. I feel like the number one thing in life is peace of mind. And that's one thing I'll say that I want to achieve is peace of mind. Because you can, like my grandpa always tells me this, you have a plan and you really start with a vision, right? And then you make a plan and then you work the plan and you do it for a long period of time. That's your longevity. And you start prospering.
Yeah.
Once you start prospering, you achieve peace of mind.
Right.
So everything reverts back to peace of mind.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that's really what Kobe Byrd, in 10 years, he wants to be at peace. He wants to achieve peace of mind. He wants to have accolades. He wants to, you know what I'm saying, take the radio station from where it is now and take it to $1 billion company and figure out how can we evolve radio? How can we create environments like this? Because this is huge. This is like basically radio. This is what a radio station does. You know what I'm saying? And it's about that life. We about that life. You know what I'm saying? So
no, that's great, man.
Yeah.
Move on into hot takes.
Hot takes.
All right. So before we get into the main topic, first thing I always ask my guests this. So you got to give me your top 5 all-time basketball players. And then you got to give your top 5 active basketball players. So who's your top 5 all time?
That's a good one. And I'm going to do it in order of position.
Okay.
This is a really good question. And I don't know why I'm doing it in position because now it's going to be like.
It's whatever you want to do. You top 5. You know what? Don't matter position, but just your top 5 all time.
I'm going to just go with, you know what I'm saying, all time because I don't want to do anybody dirty. You know what I'm saying? Number 1 for me, I gotta go with LeBron. That's my dog.
All
you know what I'm saying? Because I was born in '99, right? So coming up, I basically saw LeBron.
Yeah.
And I took pictures with LeBron. And LeBron's like my uncle. You know what I'm saying? So I'm biased, but I really like LeBron. Really like Kobe.
Okay.
Really like Jordan. I wish I got to see Jordan. You know what I'm saying? I went to the Jordan camp.
Right.
I went to things like that. But I wish I got to see Jordan play. That's one thing I do wish. So definitely LeBron, Jordan, Kobe. I think I'm going to have to go with Shaq.
Shaq number 4, okay.
Shaq, and who is number 5?
Steph, KD?
I'm going to go with KD.
KD?
I'm going to go with KD because I did meet KD too, and KD's my guy. So
all right.
So but I'm going to tell you why though. And I feel like I'm leaving out AI and Steph, but those would be my 6.
That's 6, 7 right there.
Because I really like AI growing up for real.
Yeah.
But overall, man, I choose those because, they all had a meaningful impact in my life, when it came to hoop. And one honorable mention for sure would be James Harden.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm a lefty, James Harden's a lefty, and we kind of have that same style, kind of a slasher guard, but still can shoot the 3.
Yeah. So
I really like James Harden as well. But yeah, that's kind of all time.
So who's your top 5 active basketball players right
active? Now? I'm gonna have to go. I really like John Morant. I'm not gonna lie. He's fiery, but I like John Morant.
All right, good.
Like at the 1 position. Also like D Fox, kind of at the 1 from Sacramento. You know what I'm saying? No, at the 2. Who we going with the 2 nowadays, man? Give me some guys that I can. I've been locked in the dungeon, man. I've been making these movies.
You could say Klay Thompson. Let's see.
Yeah,
you got cool. Klay. You got. If you want to go by position, I'm trying to think top shooting guards. Yeah. That because nowadays the guard position is such a hybrid position.
Yeah.
You could say Luka Doncic. You could say, you could put, I mean, Kyrie Irving's a combo guard. I know they might list him as a point guard, but he's a combo. Steph is a combo guard at this point. Like, it's, you got Anthony Edwards, you got,
You know what? We're going to go Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards go crazy for real. You know what I'm saying?
Right. You got Jason Tatum, right?
Like
That's
that.
another one. You got, I mean, it's, like it's your pick. You got, I mean, even the bigs, you got Joel Embiid, you got Jokic, you got Giannis Antetokounmpo, it's just, man, you it's your top 5.
Hey, man, I'm still going LeBron, man. All these years. Anthony Edwards is up there. John Morant is up there. And then I'm going to go with some bigs. I want to say Anthony Davis, but he's been on the hurt injury reserve list recently. But
he's still talented.
But when he's
talented.
locked in, man, AD go crazy. And then let's get a center in there, man. I think I'm going to go with let's see.
You'll go with the young kid,
Wembanyama.
The 7'4".
Wembanyama was good, but he's kind of a hard-head, hot-head, but Jokic is he's a solid guy. Like
I mean, he's MVP. Shit.
He be shooting the threes, but then he be like Jokic is kind of one of those guys where like I don't like him because he just
he's awkward.
not even just awkward. He's always trying to bulldog somebody. You know what I'm saying? But you got to respect it. Like Shaq, everybody hated on Shaq, but everybody loves Shaq because of what I'm saying, what he did. So I'm gonna go with those for now.
All right, cool. And then what's your favorite team?
My favorite team is the Kings, man.
Okay.
100%. Sacktown, baby.
I can't be mad at that. Yeah,
we're going to light the beam.
And the Kings have made some good moves this year. They re-signed Malik Monk. He got an extended deal. I think it was like $80+ million.
Shout out to D Rose.
Yeah, DeRozan's here now. So I think, obviously he's not quite in his prime. He's maybe kind of on his decline, but he's can get buckets. He's very versatile. I mean, and Mike Brown and the culture he's done with the Kings has just been phenomenal. So I mean, like,
shout out Mike Brown, man.
Yeah. Like, and I'm a Warriors fan, so I can't. I grew up in Oakland. That's just who I'm rocking with. Rocking with. So I'm a real fan. I ain't a bandwagon fan, but I really love where basketball as a community sits today, because I've been talking about the Olympics a lot too and all that, but like the community of basketball has really touched worldwide. You know what I mean? It really is a super popular worldwide sport. And for someone like myself, who's obviously very invested in this game, but also watched the transition from, because like you talk about not being able to see Michael Jordan. Well, I did, you know what I mean? Because like I was born in 83. So, I got to see Michael Jordan. I got to see the evolution of basketball from MJ to Kobe and AI to Shaq and just those to now, to when LeBron came in and all those things. So it was really fun for me to watch, even watching the Kings with, the best team that never won a ring, but with Vlade and C. Webb and Mike Bibby and Bobby Jackson. It's just all that, man. So
we got Rob back then, man. Them damn Lakers, man. Robert Horry, man.
I'm telling you, it's really fun to watch where hoop is at today. Where regardless of all the negative side, side of things it gets sometimes, it really is in a good spot. So I want to go into the WNBA. Obviously, it's grown, a lot. I don't know how much you've kept up with it, but I'm sure you've seen enough to know, like, Caitlin Clark and whatnot.
I've been catching up with it. They've been doing an amazing job, for real. Like, this is the first time I've ever caught up with the WNBA, where I've seen how much value they have, and I commend them. Angel Reese's of the world, the Caitlin Clarks of the world. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of other up and coming, girls that are doing great. Yeah. Shout out to Flage, LSU. Yeah. She's an artist too. Yeah, they don't know if she below. That's how I know Flage. Flage go crazy. You know what I'm saying? So seeing her, evolution as a basketball player, but also as an artist, which is, like myself. So I really commend her. I don't know if she went to the league yet, but I do know she's a hooper. And, a lot of other girls that are, doing their thing in the WNBA. Yeah. I think it's great. I love it.
Yeah. And it's, where it's at today, they're making another WNBA team in the Bay, the Golden State Valkyries, which is going to be really cool to see. It would be nice to see. I mean, who knows if it'll happen, but they used to have the Monarchs out here, the Sacramento Monarchs. That was the women's franchise out here. Maybe it'll come back. But the biggest thing, I don't know if you've heard any news on it. If you haven't, I'll just give you the quick update. But, Caitlin Clark's been really, she's been killing. So right now, I think she's averaging 20 points, 8 assists, 5 or 6 rebounds, something like that. She's
a beast.
She's killing it right now. And this is her rookie year, right? Jeez. And, but Cheryl Swoops, WNBA legend, has been catching a lot of shit because, a lot of people feel her and a lot of people been hated on her. And now they kind of they gotta eat crow. They were wrong. They thought she gonna struggle. But it's she struggled a little bit for it. And I wouldn't even really call it a struggle. It was more just trying to adjust and get used to the speed and the tone of everything. But now she's thriving. Mm-hmm. And, the big question is, obviously, everyone's like, well, why do they hate on Caitlin Clark, right? Now, you have some people like Jamil Hill who takes it to the extreme where she's like, oh, it's because she's white. Media just loves her because she's white. Me personally, I don't think it's a black or fucking white thing. I just think the woman hoops and she's fun to watch and she's marketable. It's very similar to when Steph really became Steph.
I see it the same way.
You know what I mean? We knew he could shoot 3, but then when he was, especially his MVP season, when he got unanimous MVP, he was making shots and just doing things. That's when he crossed over the Clippers and made that shot, made Chris Paul fall. I mean, he was just doing things that it was whoa, are we really watching this?
That Steph Curry, man.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, man. I see the same effects when it comes to Caitlin Clark.
100%.
And I don't know. I don't know if you have, any input or any outlook on that, but that's just,
No, I could talk about that. And like I was saying earlier, I really like that beef with her and with Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Where they was like this, you know what I'm saying? That to me is cool because as a hooper, that's what we live for. We live for those little beef moments, and it gets blown out of proportion by the media, but from a player perspective, that's what you live. You live for those moments where you could talk and draw with the players a little bit. You know what I'm saying? That's fun. It's basketball. It's competitive. But to see someone like Caitlin Clark and her evolution as a hooper is so dope to me because, she was at Iowa, right?
Yeah.
She was at Iowa doing her thing, but then now you're coming into WNBA. And the WNBA is very interesting because they play the March Madness or whatever their thing is, and then they go straight to the WNBA and they play right afterwards.
Yeah.
Dang, she didn't even get to rest or nothing like that. So
right.
To be able to do that and to see that is so dope to me. Same with like an Angel Reese type of player. They're super marketable, and I think that's dope how they can hoop, but then as same do the off the court commercials and things like that. I think it's really, really nice.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what the league evolves into. I mean, ultimately they need to generate revenue, and I say this on my show all the time, whether it's a controversial take or not. But I ain't the only one saying this. I'm just saying, women, if y'all want that league to thrive, get women to go to the games. It's really that simple because y'all biggest supporters is men. So if you really want to see your league thrive, get women in those seats, man. If you can get women in those seats, you'll kill it because those same women will fucking buy tickets to go see Chris Brown. and they'll spend $1,111 to have a photo with him. So I'm like, if you could get them to take a fraction of that money and go watch y'all hoop, shit, you ain't got nothing to worry about.
Easily. And I think too, we're in a day in this world where there needs to be support all around. I think that there should be, for the WNBA, it should be just as packed as the NBA games. Yeah. It should be, you know what I'm saying, right there. It shouldn't be a drop off just because of the WNBA and they're not dunking and doing a whole bunch of flashy stuff. I mean, it's still entertainment.
Yeah.
You got to think about this. A lot of people don't understand sports is entertainment. They take
at the professional level for sure.
They take it too serious sometimes. Like it's entertainment. It's meant to entertain. So I feel like if you're going out and you want to go see a WNBA game, it should have just as much value as you going to see an NBA game. You know what I'm saying? And I think they're on their way with that. They're doing a very good job. I'm seeing, Vegas evolve into a place where sports is going to be more powerful, and you got the WNBA team there, and they're trying to get an NBA team.
Yeah, and they have the Raiders there right now.
Already got the Raiders. Yeah. Now they're doing baseball. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But seeing that evolution of WNBA and having these new teams come up, like you said, in Oakland and the new team, like for the basically like the Warriors,
yeah,
the Valkyries,
yeah.
The Valkyries, yeah. So like new teams like that, it brings a new vibe to the city, you know.
I agree. And I wanted, and I wanted to also talk about that in recent news. I don't know if you saw, kind of we're going segueing into football a little bit, but did you see the Tyreek Hill video with the police pulling him over? And did you hear about that?
I actually didn't.
Yeah. So Tyreek Hill got basically manhandled and pulled out his car.
Oh, that's crazy.
By the police in front of the Dolphins stadium. This happened literally in front of the Dolphins stadium, but he was speeding. I watched the tape. Basically, both were wrong, right? The cops, I think, handled it completely wrong, especially one cop. He was extremely aggressive. But at the same time, Tyreek Hill wasn't being, he wasn't the most respectful either. You know what I mean? And again, does that give the cops the right to throw him to the ground and handcuff him and do what they did? No, it doesn't. Yeah. But at the same time, we know as black men, if you're going to get pulled over by the police, you try to be as calm and respectful as possible, because we know how quickly that can escalate.
That's true, especially at nighttime.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't know what exactly happened with the Tyreek Hill situation, but one thing I'll say, whenever I do get pulled over, I make sure my hands is on the wheel. You know what I'm saying? You can see him. Cause one of my cousins is a police, you know what I'm saying? And he's taught me some things, as well as my grandfather, right? But you have to understand where their point of view is as a cop, but then you have to understand how to protect yourself, because being a black man in America is tough, you know what I'm saying? And you have to know how to move. You can't move a certain way to be targeted. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get targeted a certain way if you're moving a certain way.
Yep. And
so I think we just have to protect our kids and protect our young ones, you know what I'm saying, as you're a coach, and I know you teach them a lot of manners and how to, hey officer, how you doing? Is there anything I can help you with? Right? Not why you pulling me over for, you know what I'm saying? So
I talk to my young brothers especially about that, you know what I mean? And obviously I'm in Rocklin. I'm predominantly white area, but for the young brothers that I get on my teams, and especially if, just being quite honest, if they don't have necessarily a male figure around, because that happens in sports, I still try to talk to them and tell them like the right way to do things, because I would hate to see any of the kids that I particularly coach be on the wrong side of a police officer. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm always thinking about. But hopefully we'll see how that pans out, I guess. Do
you know what happened moving forward?
Well, they're trying to, right now it's all in the investigation phase. The cop that was the most, like I said, belligerent, I don't remember his name, but they I guess they put him on administrative duty, basically meaning he's sitting his ass behind a desk, but he's still getting paid, but he's not on the street. But I guess, of course, people on social media are, on one side or the other. So some I would say are very neutral in terms of, they're like, well, both were wrong. But of course they're like, well, this shouldn't have happened to the star player in front of the Miami Dolphins stadium. But of course you have those who are like, well, the cops did right because he was being disrespectful. I just think, again, both could have done better. From what I've researched and seen, they want to fire the cop that did that. That's what the public's looking for. Will that most likely happen? I don't think so. I don't see that happening. But because of who they did this to, it will have a much bigger profile. You know what I mean? Because if this would have just been a normal guy on the street, we wouldn't even have heard about it, right? But this is obviously a star NFL player. It's going to be a big deal. And then obviously the biggest thing in news that happened, as far as, in the music industry, it's just because it happened in the music industry, is P. Diddy, Sean Puff Daddy Combs, got arrested. Sheesh. And he's facing some tough charges. He is facing federal arrest. And in case for you guys who are listening or don't know, or if you give you a quick summary, because I've done some of the research myself. Basically, it's like this: if the FBI has arrested you, it is a very, very, very high probable chance you're going to go to jail. You know, it's just a matter of how long. And, you know, they might make plea deals for you to lessen your sentencing and things like that. But it is very, very likely this man is going to go to jail. And the biggest question obviously is, who all else is going to go with him? Because this is a RICO case, a racketeering case. And basically what that means is he profited money off of an organization. It wasn't just him being a criminal. It's off an organization, which also means that there's other people involved. And Diddy's a billionaire. I think people forget that part. He is a billionaire. So
it's a lot of connections.
It's like all the money you accumulate through that RICO and profiting, the government takes that as well. So this is gonna be like a years long deal but it is going to come down like a sledgehammer.
So let me ask you this. Would this be, and obviously it doesn't compare, but would this be on the levels of how Young Thug is right now?
No, bigger. I would say even bigger. I would say, and because of the gross incompetence on that case, because that's one case I've been keeping an eye on as well. He's most likely gonna get off. He's most likely gonna he's gonna more than likely walk. Okay. You know, he'll have time served and whatnot, but I think he's going to get off. What'd you say, Joe? He's done? Oh, Diddy? Yeah, Diddy's done. Yeah, Diddy's done. I mean, look,
all them damn Diddy parties, man.
I mean, like he called them freak offs. He's like, bro. There's so many. Like I read, they raided his house and shit. They raided all the houses and properties and shit. Mm-hmm. Do you know they said this? I should be laughing, but this is just so fucking crazy. It's like you. It's like you. I was reading it and hearing the dissertation. There's shit I couldn't believe we're in this. They found over 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lube in his house. Is over 1,000 bottles. And if any of you guys have kids or have babies, you know how much just one big ass bottle of Johnson & Johnson's baby oil can last. This motherfucker had over 1,000. I was like, bruh, I just
missing up.
Yeah, man. I'm like, he used his power to extort people. I mean, when I saw the video of him running down the hallway in the towel, beating the shit out of Cassie, it was like,
bro, that was disturbing, bro. I was just like, are you serious? Like part of me was like, is this an AI? Like,
yeah.
Like, is this real life? You know what I'm saying? And you see everybody talking about woman beater and this and that. Yeah. I was like, yeah. At that point, I was like, yeah, he's done. Bro, like, there's no way.
It's so, from seeing that and they like, so there was a story years and years ago. Kid Cudi's car was blown on fire, was put on fire and blown up. And Kid Cudi said Diddy, you know, Puff had to do with it because at the time Cassie was dating him and he was jealous. And so he blew his car up. And of course they couldn't substantiate it, but now it's in the court documents that was substantiated. That's what I'm saying, that when the FBI makes this case against you and they have it, it's all public now. But like there was a guy, a YouTuber I was watching that broken down piece by piece by piece. So it gave me a quick summary. It's in there like that. And when they bring you up on charges, just so people understand, when the FBI actually brings you in, the part of the reason why the FBI have to get involved is because he's done things out of state. So that's why it can't just happen on like New York level, because he has properties in California, he has properties in Florida. So they have to go to all the different people all over the country and deal with it as a federal case. So that's why the FBI got involved. But the scary part is there's probably so many people that know, and there's so many people involved that it ain't going to be just him going down. It ain't going to be just him. He obviously going to be the main one, but he's going to, like, people snitching. People are snitching. They haven't publicly come out again. We are literally.
Have you seen the memes?
No, I haven't. I've seen a few.
Oh my gosh, the memes is like, I seen one with Tom Brady. He's like looking back like this, and they over here talking about R. Kelly looking at Diddy coming into jail.
Oh, bro. I mean, I think back to that Kevin Hart video where he was like, that video when he was interviewing Diddy, he's like, I'm not going into bed. I'm not going in Diddy's bed. And I think back to that one where he was drunk as shit. Well, I think it was on Drink Champs, and he was talking to Fabulous. And he kept calling him daddy and was like, you know, when we gonna party together? And I remember that, and I was like, oh, there's something wrong with this dude.
He's different, bro. And you look back at the Justin Bieber clips, and the like you said, the Kevin Hart's where they was recording with the little cam. And you look back at those videos, you just like,
bro, he was telling us who he was.
Yeah, man.
And I don't know what it is right now with our OG music industry pioneers. You know, you think of Kells, you think of R. Kelly, you think of Diddy now. I mean, God forbid something come out with Jay-Z. That would just kill it all, which I don't think he's smart enough to look around and go, okay, yeah, I'm not getting involved in none of this shit. Like, but it's like, son. Man, I mean, you know, and it was a different time back then, obviously, like, social media, cameras weren't all over the place, like, so you could get away with a lot more shit. I just don't. I'm thinking about this is the thing I'm thinking about more than anything. When he's in court and he's trying to convince the jury or whoever that he's not a fucking weirdo. Like, he has to try to describe this. He's a bit. You gotta understand. He is so far removed from reality because when you're a millionaire, billionaire, your life isn't normal in any stretch of the capacity. So he has to now sit and talk with normal people and be like, well, yeah, like there was guys in my house, you know, that butt fucking each other and you know, women walking around with negative, but I didn't do anything. Like, he has to convince the normal everyday working person that this is somehow normal. I'm like, bruh.
You know what I feel like is gonna happen? They gonna try to spin some shit and they gonna make it like, well, they can't be on the jury because they bias at me. You know, it's gonna be some type of a loophole type of thing that they gonna try to pull some strings. But it's just crazy, bro. Like, I try to remove myself away from all that.
Yeah, don't go to no Diddy.
I try to just stay locked in the dungeon. I call it the dungeon, man. I'm just in the dungeon, man. I'm in the lab, just grinding on my music, on my video productions. You know what I'm saying? Locking in on what I'm doing, and I try to stay away from the negativity. But it's like you see it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you see an ex-president almost get assassinated on live television, and you see it almost happen again.
Yeah,
and it's like, what world are we living in, y'all? Like,
oh man,
like I just want to, you know what I'm saying? I just want to travel. Man. I want to go back to Jamaica. Yeah, we going to Jamaica, man. We going to Jamaica.
Exactly, man. No, it's different in that. And now, you know, we'll see what happens with that and with the case with that. You know, obviously, in other, you know, quick news, shout out to Adrian Wojnarowski. He retires from ESPN. He's going to be a GM at a college. And that's kind of the new trend. The last thing I'll talk about in Hot Takes is GMs at colleges, because you have these NIL deals and college kids being able to make, you know, lucrative money and make moves like that. So you really have now GMs at colleges to help recruit kids and retain kids and help them make money while in school. What are your thoughts on kind of seeing that, like, you know, college kids making money and having the transfer portal and all that stuff? I
really love it. I think it brings a whole new excitement to college, but at the same time, it's amazing because my little brother, he's getting ready to play baseball at UC Riverside, right?
Oh, nice.
And so to see him be able to get an NIL deal and to see him be able to add value to companies or businesses in his community of where he's going to be playing, it's going to be huge, right? Yeah. So, but going back to like how you're talking about woes, that's going to be the number one thing moving forward, because these kids, they've been making money on these kids for a long time.
Yeah.
So to be able to now brand yourself and to not make it a thing where it's like, oh no, that's against the rules, and you know what I'm saying? You got people like the Reggie Bushes of the world where they got shamed,
which is ridiculous, right?
Same thing with LeBron, right? Yeah. They were superstars, and it's like, how you gonna shame them for being great?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're so great that we're gonna dim your light because of how great you are. It doesn't make sense.
And the NCAA has been making money off these off the back of athletes.
It's like extortion.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
It's crazy. And I just think it's great to see evolution in that sports world. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, like I look at somebody like Jared McCain. You know what I'm saying? My little bro came from Sacramento, and now he is where he is now, went to Duke, and then he's playing with the 76ers now, right?
Yeah.
But you look at Jared, and then even his brother Jace. Jace is my bro. You know what I'm saying? We came up, played basketball together. But seeing their evolution and seeing what he did, Jared's story is really great because he started documenting his journey. He started documenting himself. He started documenting himself meditating and going through the journey of being a great basketball player. And what did that do for him? It led him to finding himself and what he wanted to do, right? And then he started doing different trendy stuff, getting on TikTok and getting brand deals.
The TikTok dances and all that.
You know, the TikTok dances, you know, it's fun and stuff, but
I ain't with the nail polish though. But
not the nail polish,
but you know, that's y'all, that's the young generation. I ain't knocking it, but I ain't vibing with it.
He said it was a what did he say? He said he played one game with him and did good and kept doing it. But that, I'm gonna be honest, that's a whole nother realm of what he's entering as far as brand deals. But when it comes to brand deals in the TikTok world and stuff, you're building value for yourself by being yourself.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? So I think what these kids got to do moving forward that's going into college is start branding yourself, but be yourself. So that way people can see you for who you are and want you, you know, to represent their company.
Yeah. Well, and like you said, it's every kid's becoming a brand now. It's starting at younger ages. That for sure. Like, you know, I'm seeing kids as young as like 9 years old, 10 years old. And obviously their parents are managing a lot of this, but they're gaining huge followings and, you know, using the social media platforms to grow who they are as people, right? So it is going to be interesting to see what it evolves into. You know, I always just tell parents and kids, especially parents, you know, be mindful when it comes to social media. Obviously, you don't want your 9-year-old, you know, being on Instagram all the time or TikTok, or, you know, to help mitigate that. But it is, I'll keep reiterating it, and I guess that's kind of overall a theme of this episode is, you know, experiment with what you're interested in, you know, grow, make sure you, like you said, you evolve and grow as an individual, not just an athlete, and, you know, brand yourself, market yourself, you know what I mean? Make like, we all have a chance. Will we all be successful? No. Or it depends on what you define as success, right? So if you can pay your bills and you know, have food in your stomach and take care of your family, that's success for some people. You know what I mean? And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But some people, like, they want to be at the top, right? They want people they want to be famous, or they want to, you know, be influential person and like a Kim Kardashian, right? You know what I mean? So you know, people gonna figure out what that is for themselves. Yeah. But I just like that our athletes are venturing more into more mainstream media and doing things like that. And we'll see. Like I said, we'll see where it evolves. I only got a couple quick more questions for you then before we get out of here.
For sure.
With the music side of things, you know, and all that you're trying to do with that, if you became successful enough, would you want to start like your own label and potentially, you know,
100%.
go the route of, you know, be Lucius from Empire, you know?
Hey man, that's definitely in the works right now. I definitely do want to start a record label. Right now it's in the works. It's called Good Business Records. And basically, like I said, good business. I want to have good business, right? I want to be able to sign somebody to a deal, but it not be like one of those deals where, you know what I'm saying, I'm messing you up.
Yeah.
I want to basically do what Deon said. I want to teach you the game. I want to not sell you the game and sell you out, but I want to be able to teach you the game and mentor you and guide you in the right direction. So when, I'm not even going to say if, but when I do take off in my music career and get attraction and people start to see my vision, I want to be able to spread that love and spread whatever I have going on with my younger generation. I have a lot of young artists that look up to me already, and I want to be able to help them and guide them in the right direction, put them with, you know, mentors and people and ultimately just do it all, man. I see what Jermaine Dupri is doing with kids and how he had the rap game. I want to be able to have a version like that. You know what I'm saying? I met some of the top producers in the industry. You know, my cousin, you know, shout out to LJ Curry. He's one of the top producers in the industry right now. He did a hit record with Drake called Money in the Grave.
Yeah.
And
know that.
Yeah, when I die, put my money in the grave.
We all know
what
that.
I'm saying? Everybody know that song, you know what I'm saying? But that's literally my blood cousin. And he worked on that album, or not even album, he worked on that single with Drake. And, you know, to see my cousin go through what he went through at a very young age, he was a young superstar, right? And now that I'm finding myself in music, it's super dope to have all the people that's around me. You know what I'm saying? We're all making music. We're all elevating. We're all doing our own thing. And to be able to have somebody look up to somebody like, you know, Deon and my cousin LJ doing their thing in the industry, and to me to see that and try to push forward with what I have going on, that's really what it's all about. Is just, you know, figuring out what I want to do and just pushing forward.
That's for you.
He's on fire.
No, that makes sense. I want to, well, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Because this is my last question that I was going to end with is, you know, even in the basketball community, and you could speak more on maybe the music side or the, you know, working together, and specifically Sacramento. I would say on the basketball side of things in Sacramento, it is very divisive. It does come across like everyone's like trying to be on an independent side and move up isolated away from everyone else, like, oh, this is my player and this is my organization, you know, I'm not helping you, you don't help me. I do get a sense of Sacramento's very divided, and I'm one that, particularly on the show, I repeated plenty of times that, even on my social media, it's in my reels and shit all the time, but I would love to see Sacramento more united and more people collaborating and working together. I personally do collaborate and work with a lot of people. That's part of why I've had success. I would like to see, I think we have enough going on in this, you know, capital of ours. There's great podcasts out here from people I've seen. There's great musicians out here. There's great artists, like you said yourself. You got Deon, who's doing his thing, who still advocates, even though he spends a lot of time in LA, he still advocates for out here in Sacramento. I mean, we just have so many thriving, we have a very thriving community that is very multifaceted. We're not, you know, we got a little bit of everything out here.
Of course.
I would like us to be more unified. I'm just kind of curious in your perspective, even from, again, the artist side or even from the sports side, whichever lens you look at it, do you kind of see Sacramento a little divisive, and would you like to see it come together?
Man, most definitely. I see a lot with Sacramento. Like, I see both sides, right? I see a very good potential side, but then I see a very dark negative side. And I think it's the yin and yang, right? You have to have balance. You have to be able to feel comfortable in your city and know that if I blow up tomorrow, will I be safe here, or do I have to feel like I have to move?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's really what's important to me, is like, I want to stay here. I want to be able to help evolve and grow and build community, right? I know a lot of, you know, community leaders, right, when it comes to politics and stuff like that. One being Angelique Ashby. She's in the Senate now, but she was in our community in the Thomas back when I was growing up. And it's just like, seeing people in those realms, I want to be able to connect those people with, you know, sports people, with, you know, artists and things like that, and build community events. Imagine if we can throw a big community event where we have multiple artists that are up and coming, be able to showcase what they do in front of thousands of people.
Yes.
I want to be able to host events in the middle of, you know, they've already did it, but in the middle of like that Capitol lane, like with the bridge and the Capitol, that lane, be able to have that packed out, like how when we were, you know, with the George Floyd march with Deon, be able to have that, but in the sense of a music event. Yeah. Like a Coachella or something like that. And they already have events kind of popping off like that. But to have more of that, I think is huge. And to be able to spread love, it's all about spreading love. Like, people overlook the power of love, but you have to spread love with, you know, people in the community, because if you don't, you're going to feel divided. You're going to feel like, nah, this is mine. And going back to the sports side, this is my player and all that stuff. Nah, like, you want to come up with your team. Like, for me, shout out to Elite Shooting Stars, Spear Got Game. That's who I came up with at a very young age, and those are my brothers. And we all came up together. And, you know, sadly, when we got to high school, we split up. But I think if we would have stayed together, we would have been like powerful. Like, we would have won like section championships and stuff, because we had so much chemistry. It was crazy. And, you know, I went to a private school, and my boy Zay came with me. But then we had like Trey and Kiwan and KJ and Blackman, and, you know what I'm saying, and all our guys that was on the team. Like, we were all so dope, but we were dope together. We should have stayed together. But it's no regrets. Like, things happen, right? But I look back on it, I'm just like, I think we would have been a dope team if we stayed together. So I would just encourage people to stay together with your brothers. Find a clan, find a group that you can really call home, and just stick with them, man. Stay loyal, man, because you think of what you're trying to do, you have to create that story. You can't have the story of, oh man, I jump ship here. You're not really creating substance.
Yeah. So
create your substance within your community and just continue to grow and evolve. That's really what it is.
No, man, that's great stuff. Well, now that we're in the closing, did you have any last few words or any shout outs you wanted to do before we get out of here?
Hey, man, we're going to slowly ride it out, man, with this jazz music. No, I'm just playing. Man, this your boy Kobe Byrd, man. Follow me on Instagram at Kobe Byrd, KOBEEBYRD. Also, my artist page, Kobe the Artist, KOBEETHEARTIST. Kobe the Artist and Kobe Byrd, man. Follow me. But also, man, tap in with me, because we're going to get it going with Bout That Life Podcast. I can't wait to be on the show again, and we're going to keep talking with my boy.
Absolutely, Chris. Man. Absolutely. No, I
love you, dog.
I love you too, kid. I'll have links to his social media and everything, like you said, in the description. So again, click that, follow him, check him out, follow his journey, support him. If you stay to the end of the episode, you're a real one. Again, maybe consider, if you're on that YouTube side, hit that subscribe, do the HBO special, help a brother out. If you're on the audio side, maybe hit the follow. Either way, I appreciate your support. Hopefully the knowledge is helping your game grow, giving you some knowledge, you kids, parents, anybody out there who's taking the time to listen. I do hope it's helping you guys out. I always appreciate when people come up to me at these basketball events telling me, man, I love your show. It's helping me and my kids out. It's helping us navigate this journey. So again, I wish you all God bless. Be safe. Kids, take care of your bodies. You know, parents, keep doing your thing. I know it's hard. I know some days are harder than others, but trust me, man, there is an end game to all this. Everybody be safe out there, right? You know, I know a lot of crazy things are going on, but keep love in your heart and keep pushing and keep hoping for the best. And we are out.
Peace.